Alright, welcome back, Crusaders. Today we are going to be talking about Dragon's Dogma 2. This is our first impressions after a week of gameplay. Dragon's Dogma 2 is a sequel to the 2012 spring release of Dragon's Dogma, also known as Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen, if you are playing on back compatibility. Now, Dragon's Dogma had the unfortunate issue to release 6 months after Skyrim came out and was overlooked by the masses due to that. But over time, it has gained a cult following, and now after 12 years of waiting, fans have finally gotten a sequel to the game that they've basically fell in love with, and the sequel has gotten the hype train that it's always deserved. Now, to put it simply, Dragon's Dogma is an open-world fantasy adventure for those who think Elden Ring is too hard to play or Breath of the Wild is too cartoony and kiddish. Not quite as dark as the From Software's games, but not as bright and friendly as the Zelda games. This is a good middle ground for third-person action RPGs. Now, like Skyrim, the main story or the plot isn't the main star of the game, it's the emergent gameplay and the stories each player creates during their own adventure. Most gameplay videos out there that are not specific guides are of just crazy situations people are finding themselves in while exploring. Now, the good for this game is the gameplay, the boss battles, climbing on the bosses, the locations that you can change. Those are all huge pluses. The boss battles are very emergent, except for the ones that are very much scripted that you have to go through. But these giant bosses that are cyclopses, griffins, minotaurs, ogres, dragons, you can climb up on them. You can basically ride them if they take off and fly, and basically gives you that kind of Monster Hunter feel of and Shadows of Colossus of fighting a boss. Yeah, the vocations or classes is also another unique thing to this game, which is that when you start your game off as a fighter or a mage or a thief, you don't have to stay that, and you don't have to go through a whole playthrough with just one class. You can literally change your classes on the fly and discover new classes as you play, unlocking things like a warrior, sorcerer, the mystic spear hand, magic archer, and the ultimate warfarer. And these can be changed on the fly with no cost. So if you get bored of playing one way or you get frustrated with how your build is, you can easily swap over to another one. The other good thing is that exploration is always rewarded in this game. If you go and you see a pathway that verges off the main path that you're on, if you go down there, guaranteed you'll at least find a treasure chest or something worth getting there. The other major great thing about this game, another major thing that sets it apart, is their pawn system. Now, pawns are player created characters that are controlled by the game's AI. You get to create one yourself that's always going to be partnered with you, as well as you have the ability to hire 2 other pawns that other players have created. These pawns, depending on how much of the game that they played through with their creators, will have information on to where to go to solve a quest, where treasure chests are. They'll show you where hidden items are at. All you gotta do is let them go and show you. Or you can hire pawns that are the same level as you who may not have any information on the current quest that you're on that will just be helpful AI companions. This game has AI is so good that they are very worthwhile to have a full party to play with. The character creator is one of the best ones out there. I would say its only minor flaw is that it doesn't go as far as you would want it to go. The sliders definitely stop a little bit shorter than where Oblivion would have gone to, where you can make a huge monstrosity. There's no hand holding in this game, so very few map markers. A lot of times you just have to talk to people to understand where somebody went and to get an idea of where you need to go, and then you just need to follow the clues. There's an actual nighttime in this game, which is another big plus, because if you play games like Assassin's Creed Odyssey or Origins or even Valhalla, their nighttime is just really a day-to-night filter thrown over the game, where everything is just blue instead of it actually being dark. This game, when nighttime falls, different enemies appear. It is pitch black, you cannot see. It definitely adds a new element to the game. And adds a definitely kind of feeling of dread and horror. I've gotten almost all the way through this game and I have avoided playing at night. And the one thing that a lot of people have mentioned during their streams, but they're not mentioning out in their videos or anything, is that there is no load screens in this game. The closest thing to a load screen you get is whenever you fast travel, it may fade to black and then reappear at the right time. But you don't have a loading screen. You can travel from one end of the map all the way to the other, and there won't be a loading screen as you enter cities, towns, caves, fight monsters. It's all just happening all at real time. Now for kind of the bad. The bad is on consoles, there's limited options for graphics. Like, there's no option to turn off motion blur. All we really have is the HDR slider and nothing else. There's no new game feature, but it is coming, as well as a possible upgrade for motion blur removal on consoles and whatnot. Basically what I mean is that the original Dragon's Dogma had an option where you can load your last game save, or you could start a new game, which would erase your current character and everything, and you would have to start from scratch. The other negative here has been the PC performance has been pretty poor depending on how your system is built. It's apparently been taking extremely beefy computers to play this at the full high frame rates that the PCs can get up to 120 or whatnot. But there are a lot of people out there who are having issues. Some people are having issues where the game is just completely crashing and it's unplayable, and other people are just having massive frame rate issues. On consoles, we're locked. We're not locked, but we are at a unlocked 30 frames second, which you'll end up seeing dips depending on how crazy it gets, but it's nothing that was too distracting to the point that I couldn't play the game. I'd also say the other negative is subtitles. In order to get characters' names, the subtitles have to be on. Nobody introduces themselves. There's no little subtitle that just tells you the name of the person you're talking to, and a lot of times when you're requested to go talk to somebody specific, they give you a name, and you may have no idea who that is if you don't have your subtitles on. Also, when dealing with the elves who don't speak your language, once you get a translator for them, you still need to have the subtitles on, otherwise you will not know what they're saying, because the only way to understand them is through the text. Now, this wouldn't be that big of a deal if subtitles were just on the bottom, but because it displays the text on top of each other as kind of a scrolling page, it ends up taking up half the screen when you're having a conversation, and it's kind of distracting. I would prefer to be able to have the subtitles off and then have required subtitles for the elvish folk or and stuff like that, and at least have everybody have a name pop up when you're talking to them. Now, kind of the meh, which I've also kind of also put in the good, was the no hand holding. It's good and bad. The good part of it is that you get to explore and have the excitement and joy of figuring things out for yourself. The bad thing is that there are some things that are just not explained at all. It took me halfway playing through this game before I realized that there was a time dial somewhere where I could actually see how much daylight was left. Because it is not explained that, hey, your pause menu, this tapestry of art that looks like looks like a more detailed mini map until you open up the real map, has a sundial around it that actually is moving and letting you know what time of day it is. There's nothing that tells you that. So there's some things that I wish, when it came to mechanics of the systems of understanding the day and night cycle and a few other things, that I wish the game did take more time to tell you, but it just doesn't. Now for the drama that this game has been seeing, that everybody's been hearing about, why it's got negative reviews, why it's slowly climbing up to better reviews on Steam and whatnot, is the microtransactions. It's a single player game. It's a Capcom game. If you look back at all the Resident Evil games that are single player games, they all have microtransactions like this. It just seems like this is the straw that broke the camel's back, and everybody's up in a roar about it. But honestly, it's a little too late to be complaining about these things, because gamers have been letting this stuff go on forever. Nobody complained at Resident Evil 2, 3, or 4, 7, or 8 that have all these little microtransactions for better guns and things that make the game easier. The microtransactions in Dragon's Dogma are kind of completely useless. They're things that you can all get in-game that are not a hassle to get, that aren't something that you absolutely have to beat the game, and don't really make the game any easier. It's kind of like things that shortcut you out of playing the game as intended. And the people who are buying those are definitely not the ones that you see online, not people like me. These are the rich assholes who just have a fear of FOMO and want to beat a game as soon as possible, so they'll buy every microtransaction they can. so that they can just walk through it. There's no the fast travel system is very restricted and limited. There is kind of an unlimited number of items to fast travel, but they're very expensive to get. But like I said, money isn't really a hard thing to get. You'll find yourself accruing quite a bit of money as you complete side quests, kill monsters, and scavenge bodies and whatnot. Changing a character appearance is only through an item that you can either have from the deluxe edition, or you can buy a couple of them. There is going to be a patch where they're going to add more of that, so that's going to be a little bit better for people. Also, the single save system has been pissing people off because most people out there want to save scum. That way they can explore basically every aspect of the game in one playthrough instead of committing to a decision and an outcome. They can then go back to an older save and replay it differently. That way they can see the good and bad as they play through it. That is what a lot of gamers do nowadays. It's not something that I do or anything, but it's a technique a lot of people use. So when you only have a single save and you can't save scum, people are stuck with the decisions that they made. If they fuck up, they fucked up, and they can't go back, or they have to go back hours to redo their play. And there are very simply things in this game that you can very easily make one wrong decision and then you're done. You're not going to be able to complete the quest. You're not going to be able to move forward any further. You're just going to be screwed. And that's okay. I mean, the game is designed for you to go through those things, make those decisions, and live with the consequences. That's the whole point of the game. What will be nice that we'll put them on par is the update for the new game feature, which will at least let you hit new game, delete your current character, start all over, and go. Because currently now consoles have kind of an easy way of deleting the game by deleting their cloud save from every location, where PC gamers will have a whole bit harder time doing it. Overall, this game is a lot of fun. It's great. I've been enjoying playing it. I definitely suggest people pick it up. If you like fantasy games, if you liked Skyrim, you'll definitely enjoy this. Because again, this definitely has the same feeling where you can just go explore and you will find adventure around every corner, and you're rewarded for doing so. Unlike most open world games where you go to a nook and cranny and look, there's nothing there. This is a pathway that goes to a dead end. They didn't put anything here because they didn't have time, or maybe they plan on building something there later, but they still haven't put it there. This has something in every nook and cranny of the game. There are major quest lines that you won't even find unless you go looking for them, or you go follow guides online. Either way, first impressions after a week is this game is very good. I definitely suggest you buy it and play it if you're a fantasy game fan. If fantasy is not your thing, I definitely suggest trying it out. If you just like action, if you just like an action RPG, but if you enjoyed Skyrim, you'll probably enjoy this game. So go check it out. It's available on all platforms. I would probably say console is my place of choice, just because things are optimized there a little bit better than PC. But it's available everywhere, so play on your platform of choice. Enjoy it and have a great day. Bye.